So let's just do a couple more examples where we're going to determine, first off, does it converge or does it diverge? If it converges, let's find the sum. So let's go back to this example right here. So I'm told that the first term is negative 3, and then I'm just going to times it by 3. Let's write out some of these terms first, okay? So help me on this, Brenda. I'm going to start at negative 3. What's negative 3 times 3? So then I'm going to go to, so that would become negative 9. Okay? What's negative 9 times 3? Okay, who can tell me what's negative 27 times 3? Negative 81. Cool. Who can tell me what negative 81 times 3 is? Awesome. And then it's going to keep going, okay? Now, what's going to happen as we keep going and going and going? Is this going to converge or is it going to diverge? This is going to diverge. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So can we add up the sum? No, it's just going to be a really big negative. It's going to be infinite, right? It's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. So we can't add it up if it diverges. Someone put a frowning face. Because the ratio here was 3. And what did we say our ratio needs to be? Less than 1. So this is going to diverge. Okay, well, let's look at number 8. It gives us some terms here. What I want you to do is to talk to your neighbor and see if you can figure out what is the common ratio. Let me give you about 30 seconds here. Try to figure out what the ratio is and then figure out would it converge or diverge. All right, Ofa, were you guys able to figure out what the ratio is? No. Not yet, that's all right. Was someone able to figure out the ratio? What'd you get there, Adam?
3/5.
How did you get that?
That's 4 times 3/5 is 12.
Yep. So you're just saying, how do I get from here to here? Well, to get from 4 to 12, we times by 3, and then, oh, we need a denominator, so 3/5. Does that work here? Does that work here? Let me show you a trick if you're like, I don't get how we got 3/5. If I divide this by this, it should give me 3/5. Let's try that. So 108 over 125, and then we're going to divide it by 36 over 25. We don't like dividing fractions by fractions, so what do we do instead? Keep, change, flip. So instead of dividing, I'm going to times it by, but flip it, 25 over 36. So then what I'm going to do is, maybe this isn't quite as obvious, we're going to reduce it. What's 25 over 125, what does that reduce to? That's 1/5. And this is actually 3 over 1, so this turns into 3/5. Maybe if you'll let me do that. Now, what if I were to do 26 over 25 divided by 12 over 5? Would that also become 3/5? What if I did 12 over 5 divided by 4? Would that become 3/5? Yeah, so if you divide a term by its previous term in a geometric sequence, it will give you the ratio, which is 3/5. Okay, cool. So we got the ratio as 3/5. Will that converge or diverge?
Converge.
It's going to converge. Why?
It's going to be smaller.
There we go. The absolute value is less than 1. If it was negative but less than like the absolute value, then like some, you know what I'm saying there? Like if it was negative 1/2, that would still converge. Okay. So yes, this will converge. So then, what that means is we can add up its infinite sum. Meaning if I went this plus this plus this plus this forever, we can add it up using our new formula, which is just a over 1 minus r. Where a is just your first term. For some reason, they don't put a 1 with it anymore. They're just like, you know what it means. Okay. So our first term here was 4. And we're going to do 4 over 1 minus our ratio, which is 3/5. Fractions, what's 1 minus 3/5? Is it negative or positive? It's 4 over 2/5, because 1 is 5/5. 5/5 minus 3/5 is 2/5. Uh-oh, fraction divided by fraction, what do we do? Keep change flip, so that becomes 4 times 5 halves, which is 20 over 2, which is 10. What? Wasn't that a nice, even, whole number? This sum right here, even though it's infinite and goes on forever, it adds up to just this nice whole. Isn't that neat? Cool, cool. Works out so nice. All right, let's do a couple more. Do you have any questions on that one before I go to the next one? All right, we've just got 2 more, and then I'm going to have you start your homework, okay? So, same idea here. I want you to do number 9 first. What is the common ratio? How am I getting from -2 to -2/3 to -2/9 to -2 over 27? Figure that out with your neighbor. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. All right, what did you guys say the common ratio was here?
1/3.
So what does that tell you? Will it converge or diverge? Converge because it's less than 1, all right? Well, let's figure out what that sum is. What is the sum here? So we're just going to do, this sum is, my first term is -2 over 1 minus 1/3. What is 1 minus 1/3? 2/3, right? Because 1 is 3/3 and minus 1 is 2/3. Let's keep change flip that, so I'm going to do -2 times 3 halves. Those just cancel out, so this just becomes -3. So the sum here, since they're negative, we have -2 here. And then we add in 0.666, and then we add in a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and it basically just gets all the way to 3, -3. Nice. Isn't that cool? We're adding up something infinite to something finite. Okay, 10. Do it again on your own. This is our last one before I just let you go and work on your assignment. Okay, let's come together. What did you guys say? Will this one converge or diverge? start plugging in numbers. So I plug in 1 and I get 3. And then I plug in 2 and I get negative 9. And then I plug in 3 and I get 27. And then I get negative 81. And then I get positive 343. And it alternates between positive and negative. But is it getting bigger or is it getting smaller? Well, it's alternating between positive and negative, but the numbers overall, it's like it's kind of going like this, right? What do we call that? Converging or diverging? This is diverging. We're not going to be able to add this up. Well, how come? Guys, looking at this, my ratio is negative 3. Now, someone might say, but negative 3 is less than 1. Remember, that's why I said we got to look at the absolute value of negative 3, which is 3 is greater than 1. So that means it's going to diverge. So can we add this one up? Nope, the numbers are just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. They're going alternating from positive to negative, but then they're getting bigger and bigger, and we can't add those up. So we just say it diverges, can't add it up. Cool, cool, cool? Okay, here's how the rest of class is going to work. I'm going to give you about 10, 15 minutes to work on assignment, then we'll come together and talk about it, and then we'll do that again, okay? Did everyone pick up their assignment in the back? Can you work together? Yes, please do.